Introduce yourself, would you please?
Sure. My name is Jayna Perry. I am a longtime resident, actually born and raised from Wamanalo. And I just recently had a newborn son 3 months ago, and I have a 13-year-old daughter. And I've been through many different types of financial investments and vehicles. And recently, about 4 years ago, I started with Mass Mutual using one of their strategies.
So you're an independent business owner, correct?
Yes, I'm an independent business owner.
And how long have you been doing your own businesses?
Well, recently I've been doing massage for, going on 8 years now, and I've also worked at W2. I still work at W2 on commissions, so I have several different types of streams of income coming in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the Mass Mutual and the strategy. So how long have you been a client of SC Finance Strategies and Insurance Consultants?
I've been a client of the FC Financial Consultants about 4 years now. I believe it's 4 years. And since starting that, I've actually used it as a tool to enhance the things that I do with my financial investments. Yeah, the cat will just sabotage.
When did you learn about the TFCGW strategy, and how did you learn about that?
Well, let's see. I was doing some of the builds because I've been building houses and selling houses in Hilo, and I got into a few projects with a mutual friend of my brother's that he introduced me to, and he said, if you're going to make this kind of money, that I should reach out to you, Stan, and make a connection to see whether or not there's some things that you have that could help me. And that was 4 years ago, and so I finally understood what the whole life policies are able to do. And I was a master instructor with 101 Financial, so I left that to pursue building my business. And throughout building my business, I was kind of directed, or I guess I was led the way here to speak with you and see what I can do to leverage my money more, and use these tax strategies to offset my taxes, and to build my legacy for my life insurance policy as well.
Great. So how helpful has SC FSIC been in helping you to understand the TFCGW strategy and obtaining your personal account policy?
Well, over the years, I would say it was a learning curve. Just using that strategy has helped me to, I guess, I've had to learn it over time. I have to understand it over time, and that's why anytime I ever have a question, you always get a text from me or email from me, just because it's always good to understand how the policy is working for you, because we don't really get it until we're in it over time. And I've learned just the advantages of having my money in this strategy. It's helped me to just maximize my financial interest and gain over the past couple years. And I've just been able to kind of utilize my money much more in a much more better way that I've ever utilized my money before. And I like to keep more of my money in my pocket. So the strategies help me to do that.
So can you give us a specific example of how you've applied the strategy?
Yeah, well, I use this strategy for long term too, because I want to build something for my generations to come, with my grandchildren, with my children, grandchildren. So getting a life insurance policy has always been important to me. I've had life insurance policies, but they were all term life, and I could see, I'm paying money into it, and it was a term. I knew it was going to run out at some point. But after learning about this type of strategy, using the whole life insurance policies and all those other different, the riders and all these other things that were added to it, I knew that I could build my wealth and my long-term, when I'm passed and my grandchildren's here, that they will benefit from what I've done today because of that.
Strategy though, have you done self-financing with the strategy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I use this strategy the way that I would use like my one-on-one financial. I'm always leveraging money. I take money out from my policy. I'm able to borrow from against my policy. And the good thing is that is I don't have to pay back. I mean, I do eventually, but it's not like I have this monthly bill, you know, that's kind of, you know, like hanging over me. Okay, you owe $500 this month. It's I'm able to take it out, build my homes, use it to when until the house sells, and then when the house sells, I put all the money back, and then I pay little. Like I think I took out like one time like 50,000, and I used it for 4 months or 5 months or so. And when I put the money back, I think total I paid like $800 in interest, but I wrote that off of my taxes. So that's one of the ways that, you know, I was able to utilize that strategy, and it was just a win-win all around.
Beautiful.
You know, yeah. So I was able to build a house, wait till it sells, not worry about a monthly payment, and then when my house sold, I got all my profits. I paid a little interest that I owed, and then I put the money back into my policy, you know, and then I didn't lose my premium. I mean, I didn't lose my policy, you know, the amount of the policy. And then another time was when I didn't have the money on me, but I had money in my policy, and then it was up the year, but my premium was due. But then I was like, oh, I don't have the money right now. He said, well, why don't you just take the money that's in your policy and then pay for that one, and then when your house sells, and then you just pay it all off. I'm like, oh, okay then. So then I didn't have the money up front to pay for that year's policy, and I had the money. It was in my account in my whole life policy, but I was able to leverage the money, the cash value in there, to pay for my new premium, so it wouldn't lapse or I wouldn't lose any coverage. So I've always had continuous coverage, and so that's just another way that I was able to utilize that.
Almost like magic.
Yeah. And the thing I like about it is, yeah, you're taking a small policy loan, you know, against the money that you have in there, but that's your money. You pay back when you can or when you want. And yeah, it's kind of coming down a little bit, but it's to me it was really minor, because I knew that I was making my money work better somewhere else, and just kind of moving money around and leveraging money. It's actually been the best tool for me because it came with a life insurance policy.
Exactly.
At the end. Yeah.
Okay, last question. Would you recommend SC FSIC and the TFCGW strategy? Would you recommend it?
Okay, well, there's a lot of abbreviations you gave, but absolutely yes, I recommend. I recommend this strategy. I actually share it with people. I was a one-on-one instructor, master instructor, when I left, and for my students, I'm always sharing, because I want to share with them what's worked for me. And I'm the kind of type of person where I don't share things unless I've experienced it or unless I've built a testimony. So I've built a testimony with Mass Mutual for a few years. And did I tell you the story about my brother? Anyway, I'm going to tell you the story about my brother. My brother, he's like this real estate guy. Like, I could talk to my brother all about finances, about just dreams. You know, we can just talk like we could fly in the clouds about, you know, what we want to do and all this kind of stuff. And 2 years ago, he came for vacation with his family, and he was doing real estate in a different way. He was leveraging everybody else's money, but none of it was his. Anyway, I was trying to get him, actually 4 years ago, trying to get him to one-on-one financial to change his way about money. And then 2 years ago when he came, I told him about Mass Mutual and what I've been doing with the whole life insurance policy, and how I got my daughter one, but you know, it's going to grow for her, and when she turns a certain age, I turn it over to her. So I think about that for my family, you know, because I want them to start making the moves that I've done, only because it's been working for me, and because over time I've understood how things work, and if I don't understand something, I ask questions or I learn about it. Back to the 2 years ago, so I gave my brother the book that you have. By the way, I need another book.
Okay.
The warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, your book. So I gave it to him, and I swear it's so funny. They were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll read it," and he put it down on my desk, and he was here for 3 weeks. When he left, I was like, "Oh, where's my book at?" And so like, "Oh, maybe he took it." And so I called my brother maybe a few days later, and I'm like, "Hey, did you take the book?" He goes, "Yeah, I was gonna read it sometime." That's 2 years ago. Today he tells me about this. "Oh, did you know about this tax warehouse?" I was like, "Bro, I was like 2 years ago, I was telling you about this." And he said, "No way, this is what you were talking about?" I was like, "Yeah, this is what I've been talking about." And it's funny because now he's all about it. Now he like, yeah, he gets it now. He gets it better now. So, just people will get it on their own time. And so for me, because I built my testimony with that, and I just like to speak from experience. So I definitely have to say that this has been a blessing for me and what I do in my life. And I just want to share it with people that I care about, or people that I helped along the way financially, because to see them grow and move into areas of like, like they buy their first home and all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, you got that. Now I like the life insurance part is just like a leg to a table. It's just adding for that foundation. So